What's going on, Reef Builders? I'm Jake Adams here with the video topic that I've wanted to start bringing to you guys, and this is about grafting corals. Now, not grafting in the classic aquarium sense when we're talking about some, like a little bit of green being infected in a red coral or purple coral and have that mix of colors that has been called grafting in the aquarium hobby, but actual grafting of coral tissues. Now, a lot of people over the years have talked about how cool would it be to regrow a coral over its old skeleton, and I just happen to have that opportunity right now. So this right here is a coral base of a very interesting thick shaggy staghorn that I got from Australia. I call them hobby frags from Galleria Aquatica. It was called Derrick's Indecision. I don't know where the name came from. You know how I feel about names. I'm just following the name because that's what the coral was given to me as. So this is a base of one of my colonies of the Derrick's Indecision that it started receding a little bit at the bottom, and this whole part, you know how Acropora colonies sometimes they can just kind of stall out. So there was a couple growing tips on here that were doing well. So there was like a really active part of the colony here, and then the part started receding here, and instead of dipping it and cutting it, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna cut off the good part and I'm gonna keep the base for a future video. And I think that was maybe like 3, 4, 5 months ago, and now one of my colonies of the Derrick's Indecision staghorn is starting to breach the water surface in one of the coral flats. So we're going to do a fun experiment that's going to be twofold. One, I need to trim down the coral because it's starting to hit the water surface. Two, I want to re-glue the frags onto here. And three, I want to cut the existing live colony in such a way to activate as much axial tip growth as possible. So many acro guys will know that if you cut, you know, any thick enough Acropora branch across, you're generally going to have a stimulation, an activation, I like to call it, of the axial tips, which is where Acroporas grow the most. But I'm going to try to do a little experiment on this colony, and I'm going to try to cut the branches. The branches are thick enough. I'm going to try to cut them kind of in like a pyramid or a diamond shape, hoping that I get, you know, one crop of axial tips come onto the side, on both sides. So we'll do that with the Dremel tool, with a diamond shaped Dremel tool, and then we're going to clean it up on the saw. So let's walk over to the coral flat and see the coral that we're going to be working with. All right, so like I said, I have a few pieces of this coral growing already throughout the aquariums, but this right here is the colony that is breaching the surface. Now, I'm not even going to try to show off how the one thing that drew me to it the most is it has just the slightest kind of green mouth inside the polyps, and the polyps get, you know, really surprisingly shaggy. It's kind of a navy blue purple coloration overall, where the tips become a lot more light blue. But you can see this tip is right at the water surface, and with all the water flow here, it's causing a lot of, let's just call it breakage. So we're gonna go ahead and take this entire colony on over and do a little bit of work to it. Come on, buddy. Oh, you've been sitting there for a long time. Yeah, see, that's a nice sized coral, and I have no doubt it'll grow back fast enough. Let's take it over to the studio and see what we can work out. Oh man, you gotta love that healthy Acropora smell. So the easiest thing to do for sure would be to clip the branches, but because the branch I want to cut is so long, I'm afraid that there'll be kind of some tension in that clip, and it'll cause the branch to break, especially at the delicate tips. So yeah, it'd be super easy to just go snap, snap, but I don't want to lose those tips for the video, so it looks good right away. All right, so this is the Legacy coral base. After I clipped them with the cutters, I went and had them trimmed them off to get a nice, clean, smooth surface. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. So I think I'm gonna do a cut definitely right here. Probably gonna cut this one right above this branch. Cut this one right here and cut this one like that. So that'll give me 4 pieces. And we're gonna start it off with the Dremel tool. Now, the Dremel tools will definitely throw a lot of material, so for this one, we're definitely going to use the safety goggles. It shouldn't be too hard. The only challenge here is the wheel is not really that big. I know I can get bigger ones, but the one I have is a little shorter, so I'm just going to do it right here in place and see how it goes. There we go, just like that. Oh yeah, I've been wanting to do that for such a long time, just because this coral is just getting a little too big for its space. So I'm cutting at an angle to create that wedge I was talking about. Perfect, 1, 2, 3. Perfect, perfect. And last, yeah, let's take this guy down because this is a tall branch. Perfect. Oh my God, that went a lot better than I thought. All right, so we're gonna get this guy back in the water, and then we're gonna start dealing with these frags and getting them on the old base. All right, so we did our tricky thing on the original colony by cutting some of those wedges, basically to promote more axial tip growth, but now we're left with wedges cut out at the bottom of these branches, and I wanna flatten them up to mate up to here. But I don't want them to be exactly straight because that's gonna get me back to the same problem I had before with the coral just kind of taking up too much space. So I'm gonna try to cut some of them a little bit at an angle to kind of get a little bit more vertical positioning on most of these branches. This should be pretty easy. So another thing we've taken to doing, instead of just putting water in here that turns into a cesspool, corals are literally full of water as you're cutting them, and we don't cut that many corals. So what we'll do is just we'll kind of spray them down a little bit with this wash bottle to keep them nice and wet. So let's get that started. I'm gonna audition each of these frags just to see which one I want where. And this one with the extra branches, I think I want kind of like that. So let's go ahead and cut that. All right, so we got a nice smooth edge on here. You can see it's a little bit angled, and I think that's gonna be a perfect matchup for there. Yes, sir, yes, sir. So that one's done. There's another big branch. Which one do I want this to be? I think since this one is curving, it'll be perfect to put right there. So we can cut that, and you see how I cut out that wedge, and it's, you know, that's not great for gluing. And by all accounts, this blade is quite old. It's very much due for replacement. So this one's gonna go right here, or maybe we'll put that one right there, because yeah, it kind of fits that shape pretty good. We'll keep that going. Oh yeah, I like this is how this is coming together. And then one token piece to put on this back side. We've got some extra branchlets here, so we're going to cut it like that. As we've done in the past, what I like to do is just dab all my spots of glue well in advance so that glue can start setting. Make sure it's well in contact with the surface. And same here with these pieces. Hopefully I can remember which branch is supposed to go to where. This is actually, hopefully, going to turn into exactly what I was hoping. Yeah, get back on there. Get it on there. Should have kept track of which branch went where, and also do it in such a way that the branches I glue on aren't going to be obstructing the others. So I like to get that dried off a little bit. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness, look at that, man. It just looks like a continuation of itself. Pull it off, put it back on, give it a little wiggle. There we go, that's that one. I do believe the curvy one was for this spot. Look at that, it's just coming together. And the tall one, cut it a little bit of an angle, was for this lower branch. Here, make sure I get that angle correct. That good contact between both sides. Yes, look how cool that looks already. Oh my God, that's so fun. I really hope it holds really well. And then the smaller branch on the thicker one. Look at that. Now, I'm just gonna grab my water. Give everybody a nice little spray down. Get that mucus off from all the stress. And start to getting that super glue to bond. Oh my God, look how cool that looks. Doesn't that look awesome, Evan? Mm-hmm. He's paid to agree with me anyway. Yes, look at that. Just turning one colony into two. And then we'll go ahead and put this other frag here. This is just an extra token frag I cut off to clean up the colony. It was self-shading a lot, both in flow and in light. So I'll just put that right there. Dude, that looks awesome. That looks way better than I even thought. I thought it was gonna look super goofy, but man, once that encrusts and just starts thickening out, it's just gonna be like this colony never changed. Well, I have to say that, you can have an idea in your mind of doing something kind of tricky, and you never know how it's going to turn out. In your mind, it's going to be like the greatest thing ever, and sometimes you're just like, how did I even have that silly idea? But I gotta say, in this case, it turned out even better than I thought. So literally grafting the living tissue of a coral to the skeleton from the same coral that had, long since passed. But as you can see, I mean, that just looks like it's primed, as Evan said, to hit the surface again in no time. Arguably, it's gonna take, a few more weeks to a couple months to see, the true results of both the grafting procedure of the living tissue onto the skeleton and how those wedges, those wedge-shaped, worked to stimulate new axial tip development in the previous colony. But I actually have a few other grafting style video fragging tutorials that I want to share with you. So if that's something you really enjoy, make sure to let us know here on this video. Put it down in the comments what you thought about this interesting little process. I know people have talked about growing live coral onto dead coral skeleton for a long time to kind of jumpstart the process of building a coral or building a reef. And it's really not that much different than putting live corals on live rock, which is all previously old dead coral skeletons. So I really hope you enjoyed this video as much as I am enjoying how this particular came out. Make sure to give it a like, comment, subscribe, share it with some people who are into fragging stony corals. And if this video really does well, while, I'll be sure to prioritize some of the other live-to-live coral grafting videos that I want to do. So thanks again for joining me on this video. I'll catch you guys very soon. Bye guys.